You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
How are ya?
And it's me, Brian. And on this episode, we are covering anime that aired the week of the 27th of July 2020 to the 2nd of August 2020. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we don't have any video because Dwayne's camera's not working. My camera is working, but OBS won't detect my camera, my part of the Skype conversation.
I didn't have a camera to begin with.
No.
So who's stupid now?
Everything is stupid
and
now.
we just spent 45 minutes trying to get that working. Interrupted by fire alarms. So
literally my building's fucking electronics is going to shit as well. So that's just fantastic.
It's a good job I've made a whole bunch of notes when I wasn't especially punchy. So hopefully I won't be mad at all these cartoons. As we start off with BNA episode 5, Greedy Bears. Our baseball episode. Further confirmation this is just the X-Men.
Yeah. Or someone just thought, hey lads, you know that film The Bad News Bears? What if they were actual bears?
And a raccoon.
Was that a raccoon?
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out what animal that was.
Rascal is a raccoon because she's called Rascal for a start. That's the big clue. But also immediately when they bring on Michiru onto the team, they're like, but she's like, but I'm not a bear. And they're like, oh, even raccoons are fine. And then it pans across to show that there's a raccoon on the team already.
Yeah, I met the coach. What the fuck is he supposed to be?
He's an II apparently. I thought he was Booger from Tank Girl, but originally. But I looked him
he's
up.
Been through some shit.
Yeah, but apparently he's an II who's really been through some shit.
I think raccoons are in the same family as bears, though, aren't they? So taxonomically, it's still legal as a baseball team.
It was that weird legal thing where it was like, okay, I think it's like, what's it? If a raccoon is close to a red panda is close to a regular panda, and panda is close to a bear, then it's just like by evolutionary leaps and bounds, or leaps of logic, more like you can. Everything is a bear. Each one is a bear.
If dogs can play basketball, a raccoon can join the bear team. It's fine.
Yes.
Breaking barriers here.
And specifically, I'm talking about Rascal here, not Jackie, who also has similar patches over their eyes. But I think they're supposed to be a spectacle bear. Maybe.
Yes. No,
yeah.
fair.
That would be the good joke.
Got a sun bear in there. The usual polar bears, grizzly bears, brown bears, Winnie the Pooh, whatever kind of bear he is, yellow bear.
I gotta say I did like the amount of fun cartoony bear designs. I neglected to say the last week the dolphin design and even the girl design for her the character was super cute. But this one is just like, oh, you like cartoon bears? You like cartoon everything, really? You're gonna get a shitload of those, and it's a delight.
Yeah, it's the Hiroyuki Imaishi storyboarded episodes,
yes.
And you can tell from the off that it's all about him.
Particularly when you get to the end when they're up against a team of Big Daddy Ed Roth-like animals.
Who appears to be the cat, I think it's Ratfink from the drawing.
But yes, how do we get to this point? Well, okay, yes, it's Michiru is still hanging around her Tanuki form because it's more comfortable, she claims. And she wants to know if there's any basketball games she can take part in because she's getting rusty, not having anyone to play against. And so, I can't remember her name now, but she's a dog beastman, isn't she? Because she just takes her to the baseball instead because she just can't see the difference between one sport to another. They all involve chasing a ball around.
It's a bunch of lads shouting. That's all it is.
Well, to be fair, like Beastmen sports seem to be quite similar in their. The sport is just an excuse for violence, basically.
Which is an excuse for gambling.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the mink is there, and we get a Gamba reference.
Oh, way before we see any stylized mouse design, to go for the weasel straight away. It's like, okay. that's Yoshinari. He's going to stick that in there some way, somehow.
And this time she's getting defensive as say, I'm not a weasel, I'm a mink. And Michiru said, I didn't even say anything this week. And then the bears are having their asses kicked by some flamingos.
They're having their asses killed by the flamingos.
Yes.
I fucking love those flamingos. This had just the design of it. I never really thought of, like, we've seen plenty of cartoon flamingos. If they went this way, there'd be this really fucking catty sort of preppy cheerleader girl kind of way, and who conceal knives in their wing feathers.
And then Michiru catches the ball and throws it back. To
her bare hands.
A tiny bear. And I was like, who is voicing this tiny bear? I looked it up. It's Megumi Han, the voice of Akko from Little Witch Academia, and Tama from the current ongoing story in One Piece.
So she's good at doing small girls then, I suppose.
So let me get back to my notes. The manager, he's got like the is it the guy from Ashton Ojo he's kind of referencing with his teeth?
It is a very,
because he has like the eye patch
style eye patch. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, it's like a dog patch, like a dog named patch.
He was the progenitor, so but you can see a couple of one-eyed coaches pop up afterwards. So yeah, he'd be the original one. I mean, they love Ashton Ojo in there, like from these lads.
Yeah.
Infamously, one could say.
I just wondered whether there was a Star of the Giants character I'm missing who may be more exactly this character.
I probably comb through this and see if there's probably some Star of the Giants thing wedged in some corner of the screen somewhere, because that's what I expect from these lads.
It is, but Pokemon Sun and Moon may have beaten them to that particular extended parody in recent years. So Dante is this coach, and he turns out he's been taking bribes from the mob to deliberately throw games. So it's not just that these bears are useless, it's that his coaching is deliberately useless in order to make sure they don't get very far. But Michiru has thrown a spanner in the works. And
by being good at baseball, and also the ability to shapeshift is helping out that. I did like it, like the extended sequence of him telling them like very obvious signals for bunt, and it, like, you see the guys kind of crowd around the plate, ready to catch it, and it's just like the announcer's like, that's he's definitely telling them to bunt. Everyone fucking knows. That kind of thing is like, he's really bad at pretending to throw the game. It's just like, no, this is what you need to do. Okay, all the bears just do it.
It's very easy to turn around and say, oh, well, his strategy for a successive bunt was to draw like all the infielders, or the outfielders like closer to the plate. So then when they hit it over their heads, they know to catch it. It's like, yes, clever coaching there, Dante. I see what you've done.
Meanwhile, behind the scenes of all this, Shiro has been sent by the mayor to investigate the gambling if there's any gambling going on around the baseball. And
Scourge of the youth.
Yeah, when they get to the final, the coach is like, I'm going to die anyway, so he steals all the gambling money. And when this is discovered, the crowd are like, what's the point of baseball without gambling if we can't win anything? And they start throwing trash onto the field, and they're going to postpone the game, but then Michiru steps out and starts, partially starts to damage the stadium by continually throwing the ball against it.
Like shutting up the crowd by like throwing it really hard against the wall, which is like, that's badass.
We came here to play baseball. Who's going to join her? And Jackie steps out, and then the rest of both the opposition and the bear team step out. And they have a match, and they lose anyway. But at least they tried.
Yeah,
they made it all the way to the finals. They went the distance.
They won the crowd, and so they won their freedom.
And our sinister scientists are here as well.
Yeah, because as your man's pointing out, it's like, hey, I thought you said you weren't going to use your powers out in public anymore, and there she is, like on TV, like hulking the fuck out, and growing cheetah legs and all this kind of shit. Yeah, it's only baseball, it's fine. Whereas your man's just in the stadium watching her, is like, oh, that's pretty cool. This is going down on my nuts.
Well, Shiro can talk. He's fucking jumping off skyscrapers and landing with skills, like cut in the head. He's grand. He walks away from it.
Yeah. It's do what I say, not what I do. Very much with him.
He's stupid like that. But no gambling going on here, Mayor. Nope. Just a couple of friends having a nice ball game and trying not to get shanked in the process.
I did like the way he was like, no, I could not find anything of corruption, despite finding the corruption, knowing the guy who did it, finding the guy who robbed that guy, and giving that gambling guy back his money. It's kind of like, you definitely found it out, but it's like, yeah, but I can't really stop it. There's no clean way of doing this for just one wolf man.
Maybe the mayor was actually just trying to get inside out. Hey, you know any good games happening this weekend? I'm hot for some action. I'm on a real streak. Come on, Ogami-kun, you got me for this, won't you?
Unfortunately, no Ibayashi storyboarded episodes until episode 12 now. But yeah, I was the same. I was like part of the way, like barely into it, and there must have been one particular movement when I was like, oh, this must be an Ibayashi episode. You can just tell.
Yeah. It's obviously signifiers there. I think especially when Mitru was throwing at that first pitch, like from the stands, even just her wind up, like before we even get to the arm turning into a fucking giant bear arm. It's you can tell that's him all over. But these all look pretty like entertaining in their own ways. So it's not just him here either.
Right, on to our next sports anime. Extra Olympia Kyklos, episode 10. Spartans are scary. In which the town is visited by 3 Spartans who've heard that they're putting on some sort of Olympics here, and they don't like the current Olympics because of who sponsors it. And also because it's full of puny martial arts sports like pancration and boxing. There's only one real combat sport, and that's wrestling. And we're going to train somebody up here. Oh yes, because there's also like 2 guys who are going to fight, and they just agreed not to because they're entirely wrong weight classes. And
he's got the Tomorrow's Joe haircut and everything, but it's like, no, that guy's like 3 times my size.
The victory for democracy.
So they're going to train Demetrius in how to be a wrestler.
They really do have to go by the Spartans here, because the Spartans like, we were thinking of having a war with you guys for the laugh, but we heard you were doing an Olympics, so fuck it, we'll sponsor this Olympics as long as it's about wrestling.
By sponsor, we mean won't raise your city to the ground.
Yeah. Their addition to it is the subtraction of war, I guess. Yeah.
So Demetrius hides in a vase, as is his wont, and Zeus sends him forward in time, where he arrives in the middle of a wrestling ring and is suplexed out of it.
Foreign wrestler.
Suplexed out of it by Giant Barber, where he lands neatly in an empty seat next to the professor.
Professor, you always seem to be in the most useful places. I know, right?
And so he learns about professional wrestling. It's a mix of sport and acting, where they use promos to make yourself look like a better athlete than you actually are, and wear a mask again because it adds a mystery. So maybe they're a better athlete than you don't know exactly how good an athlete they are. So surely they must be a great athlete. And
you sound really tough on the mic, and you look really tough.
Yes.
So it's just like, it's a good combination.
That's 90% of the work right there, or 10% is throwing your body from great heights. But you can handle that.
And so he returns on the sound of the ring bell. He's like, it's now just loud noises.
Terrifying life he leads.
Whatever the plot demands.
The next day, he emerges as Heracles' mask, which involves him sticking a vase with a painting of a lion on it on his head.
No eye holes, of course.
It does not help him in his wrestling prowess.
I do like the way he was molded with less muscles than we've seen him before, so the Spartans look more muscular by comparison.
Oh, I like this. The Spartans' bodies are like action figure bodies.
Yeah, very much so.
I mean, it looks like that's not like the main dude is talking. Looks like, they'd molded him from somebody's Triple H figure they had lying around.
I could see that. Yeah.
And then our bard regales us with a song about how Spartans are scary.
Much more aggressive, naturally, as it would be. But it's like of a speed metal kind of job than other entries in the end credits song list.
And I guess the extra thing for working with these Spartans is we see Demetrius painting the scenes of war that he saw, again, very badly, in the last episode. So it's like, war is a terrible thing that must be avoided. So hopefully he doesn't get absolutely murdered in the ring by these Spartans.
Steal, kill, invincible.
The songs are always a highlight, yeah.
Then we're on to God of High School, and the spider is running across my monitor screen. Do not appreciate that at all.
Very long title.
In fact, is he trying to get into the monitor screen?
Joining us live, it's Spider. What are you going to say about God of High School, Spider?
God of High School, Episode 4, Marriage Bonds. Right, if you hear any clunking and clattering now, it's me trying to kill this very fast-moving spider.
Don't kill the spider.
He started it. He's the one who infringed on my territory.
Well, still settle it in the ring. But first, we have a surprise wedding proposal. It's all about you, Mira, who is like a 17-year-old high school student. But she's been so amazing in God of High School, just demonstrating her sword ability and this unique style that you get to propose of him like this wealthy dude. He is like the one of the most famous like martial artists / model / businessman. Ever put up like a wooden sword or a real sword, and he thinks, "Oh, I've seen your style. I've seen like the Moonlight Sword. I want to help you preserve it. I want to help you to carry it on in the future. Will you please
I'm
marry
gonna make
me?"
it like I'm gonna make this fucking global baby. I'm gonna make it an Olympic sport. And she's like, "Well, you got the fucking money to do that, so yes, but I'll marry you. But it'll only be like a ceremony thing. It's like I still have to go through high school, that kind of thing."
Yes.
But they're still going to do the ceremony, obviously, before they even get to the next round of the tournament.
Yeah. So Jin and Mori and Han and like were just like, naturally, what the hell are you thinking? Why are you getting married? You're just in high school.
Yeah, you're in the
uncles.
semifinals as well. Like we got to fight in the finals because your man Jin is kind of thinking is like, I want to fight both you guys, so both you guys better win your heat in the in the tournament, so I can fight both of you. It's like, that's not how it works, buddy. But okay.
Yeah, her uncle is trying to get her to to back down for Oliver as well. Saying no, it's just like this guy's obviously he must have some other reason for us, some ulterior motive. Yeah, of course he does.
Yeah.
But Mira's thinking of just like back to her dad and how when he passed away, the dojo passed her uncle actually first, but he was just no good at it.
I'd like to give it a good fucking try, but he's just not as good.
Yeah, if even the kids coming in could knock him about with no problem, and then they just lost students that way. And she's just saying, no, it's up to me to try and carry this on, so I'm going to like sacrifice things. I'm just seeing what she's like kind of lost of to have before, one of the lost of to kind of get close to the girls at school and go out shopping with them or wherever they're going after. I got to devote myself to the blade.
Yeah.
And she just sees this stuff. Well, I promise if on my father's memory that I would do anything to keep this style alive, to keep it relevant, to keep it going. So if this can do that, then I'll do that. But that's if every species, this guy cannot possibly be on the level. It'd be fun to see him then wonder, getting the ceremony together that he's flashing back to the shadowy cult figure room where it says, "Yes, marry her, and then we will take our style as our own."
Yeah, I think they literally say you need the blade that can like tame God and the hand that wields that blade. So he's like, okay, so it's the Moonlight blade and the Moonlight style, I guess, is however he's interpreted that. I don't know. I'm not sure if he's incorrect. I assume he is correct based off the show itself anyway.
Yeah. Well, this is like after as well. The lads like picked their way into the ceremony because they weren't invited.
They bust the wedding. They bust into the wedding to save their friend.
Smash it in there and just trying to convince her that's like, yeah, you've this guy. He's not doesn't care about you actually. He only cares about fucking getting to your moves. So, don't throw away everything you put into this already. You know, you can prove yourself without his help, like in the ring, in the God of High School tournament. Like, show the world what you can do without his help, and do it
on your own terms rather than exactly on your own terms rather than relying on his outside help.
Yeah, and a ruse is dropped when the fella Sung Jin he someone's like a giant samurai ghost man or warrior ghost man, and he smashed the place up, and he escapes with a wooden sword.
Well, she does wreck him first.
She does do that now. Just fucking catching the blade with just her catching the blade by kind of like stopping the back of it with just her arm. No, again, just needs her bare hands to fight. Doesn't have to
she takes like a slash to the gut, but she kind of like runs her hand up along the blade like it is another blade. Again, the no sword style, and cuts that fucker up. But yeah, he still escapes very Team Rockety. It's like, I've got the blade, that's good enough, I guess. I still won. Haha. Yep. And they're all like walking away from the wedding in suits and the wedding dress, and they're all like, yes, we are good chums. Nothing could possibly go wrong until it does.
Yeah. Because Han's friend, who's sick in the hospital, he takes a turn for the worse. It doesn't look good. He's in critical condition. Not the kind of mood he needs to be in when the jerks come by at his job at dinner at a cafe and say, hey, how's your sick nerd friend? Is he dying? Is he dead yet? Huh? Please don't be sick. What a nerd, right? I don't know why these fellas keep coming after him like that. It's like he's his friend's fault he got fucking sick, whatever he's got.
Yeah.
Han can't keep his cool this time. It says, well, this Deck punches the guy. Beats him a pretty savage beating. We don't really are really privy to it, but we can see the blood kicking his fist as he stomps out of the cafe. I guess he's saying, fuck this job. I don't really care about it anymore, especially not these dudes. He's going to put it all in on within the God of High School, because we cut to because we're at semi-final stage of the top four. It's Jin, Han, and Mira, and some other dude who's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu. But it's Han and Mira in the final, and Jin is just coming up. He's just tuning in, just coming by to see how the fight's going on, and Mira is getting the shit knocked out of her. Like,
he's really not pulling. Not that he was going to pull punches, but he's being quite savage in how he's attacking. Yeah,
he's just being relentless. It's quite brutal, and he's just left in a bloody heap in the stadium. And Han just walks out there, stomping past Jin. Just says to him, "See you in the finals." And he's out of there. He's like, "Whoa, man, you're in a bad way. Your friend's in a bad way, but you don't have to check it out. And your friends, man, we're buddies. Remember that whole thing we did? Where you came by, you convinced me to not get married to this dude. That cute little photo afterwards. We'll be best friends forever."
I feel kind of bad for saying I feel kind of bad for saying the whole the thing last episode where it's like, oh, I'm glad he's not taking it out on these other guys, and it's like, no, they were just saving that for this episode.
Yeah.
And then he becomes an entire rage monster kind of thing. Breaking up the friendship, I guess.
Yeah, well, this is probably a symptom of the kind of compression as well of multiple webcomic chapters into a single episode, pretty much. But it's the author is said that some of these are written a long way apart, or only come out at a certain kind of rate. It could be a few pages one week and a few pages next week, so they wouldn't be moving ahead at a fairly rapid pace or anything. But he said to them, yeah, sure, you can just squash those down and get whatever you need to do to condense the story. And I think this could be a symptom of that, because it feels like because I got to know the whole thing was Han's friend deteriorating should have been I could start off one episode, and then by the end of it, Gina gets in the ring with him and is like, what the hell happened there, man? You got to better explain yourself with your fists.
Yeah. It's definitely hitting that somewhat. I don't mind it so much in this, that the use of it in contrast to to like them being there for each other as friends and then helping her out in the wedding, and then just her brutally getting beaten in the ring kind of thing. It's kind of like the idea is like, oh, we're all good friends, and it's like, and then partway through the episode, it's like, yeah, that's gone now, that's done. It's kind of more viscerally shocking for it rather than doing it as a separate episode, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It just you could have like given it a little space to breathe, and you could have.
Yeah, of course.
It's only the last couple of shots of it where that happens.
Yeah, it's not even like the second half. It's towards the end.
Yeah, but I guess you can kind of left to ponder about that. It's like, whoa, what's he doing to her? What where you at, man? Come on. Not as much like big fighting, there was like a giant like warrior ghost summon, but it didn't do a heck of a lot. But we're back in the ring next time, and that's where the big stunt are pulled off. That's what we're here for.
What was the line which sort of suggested that Maury's grandfather's a massive conspiracy theorist? Oh, is that everything on TV happens in real life?
Oh yeah.
My grandfather says if it's on TV, then that's really happening somewhere in real life.
That's dumb.
Okay, so I did look up. I believe it's about 28 chapters we've covered so far in these 4 episodes.
Jesus.
Yeah, it felt like it. That's when your man said it in that little behind the scenes documentary. I thought, yeah, I can kind of see where that approach might backfire on you. And I did myself, auto condensing in some of those bits of the comic that might come out sometime apart, and some of them were like almost like 10 years ago now, and he kind of like developed more as a writer and an artist and so that in that space of time, so that when you can start one end of an arc and it's kind of written or approached one way, and then by the end it could be different again. It's kind of transformed somewhere along the way.
So on the remaking of it, you'd want to make that the kind of direction, the focus that it's going to go.
I think it'll be the first 2 volumes they'll do if this is just like a 12 or 13 episode season. Okay, right. Then we got Wacky TV Nanana. Episode 16, Arrival, his first popular phase. So
it's happening.
Yeah, our hero's having a great time in the shared house, and he's pondering whether he's finally entering his popular phase, when who should enter but a guy from NHK.
Big fancy NHK boy with all his TV license money.
Like, I like the way he shows up, and the girls are initially like, "Who's that guy? He looks really plain looking." He's like, "Actually, I work in TV," and just kind of going into it's like, "Yes, I am slightly better than this other guy."
It dawned on me is whichever one of the actors is playing the one of the Lady Bananas, he's wearing the glasses. Sounds like David Wayne does when he's doing women's voices in Bob's Burgers.
It's the guy with the guy who's playing the woman with the glasses is the green-haired dude, right?
I wouldn't like to say for sure.
Way around. No, the lady with the bob there is Nanayama, I think, who's the boom operator, and then the lady with the glasses is the mustache banana.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was mixing up which one had glasses there for a second.
And so, unfortunately, he's voted out of the house, and he never learns the secret of the Kraken from them.
Oh, well.
Throwing away your time on summer romances when you should be out hunting monsters.
Then, the final episode of Gibiate, at least for me. Episode 3, The Third Man. I don't know, I might come back to it. Maybe if there's a Blu-ray version where they improve the animation. Or at least...
Read the manga adaptation.
That could be the way of doing it, yes. So we open immediately with the third man wandering into town through the water. So there's definitely some sort of connection with time travel in the water. So I assume the Gibiate virus is connected to the time travel.
Well, the dripping water.
With the water connection.
Yeah.
I do like when he sees Kathleen's mum, he's instantly attracted to her.
Yeah, everyone's like trying to pair up like so fucking soon into it.
Yes, because the ninja's also attracted to Kathleen because It looks like she looks like the woman he loved. Sensory has already broken the sword that Maeda died getting for him.
Man.
Dumb motherfucker.
The scientist is super suspect.
Like, he wasn't before. He'd be just like, okay, it's just handsome scientist. But now he's like all like these knowing fucking glances and like sly smiles. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're evil. It's like you're infecting people with this,
is
right?
he evil, or is it just because his voice is older than his character design and that he's Char?
Yeah, that's it. Like no one has a voice that deep and can be trustworthy entirely on the level. You know?
Yeah.
And it's Char's voice. That's the other issue. R.I.P. Brian. Oh, we learned that the only people who survived the previous episode were Brian, Adam, Kathleen's mum, the scientist, and our time travelers.
Everybody else was killed. Jesus.
So they're going to go to this laboratory to get some samples for the vaccine.
And they're also going to move out to like
the countryside.
I forgot the area they said in the country.
Yeah, they did like give you proper good scientific and social reasons for doing what they were planning to do.
It's kind of like, I was kind of wondering what they were doing in Tokyo in the first place. I was like, well, shouldn't you have went to the countryside as soon as possible? But maybe they just set up the base and it was working fine until it wasn't.
Yes, and they think they're safe. Well, they said there'll be Gibiates inside or Gibias inside, but hey, we've got our swordsman here. We'll get the samples, then we'll get the helicopter. They get the helicopter, they fly off, but then the weird Gibiate that we saw a glimpse of at the end of the last episode appears and shoots spider webs out of its mouth.
Well, as they were flying off the building, they saw like there's some man collapsed on top of that other building, and there's like, oh, we'll land over there. And then as soon as the scientist sees that, he's like, that's an abnormal one. I got to get the fuck out of here. Kind of thing. He does seem genuinely like, oh shit, we gotta go. We can't save that guy. But it grabs the helicopter with its tentacles.
It's like a spider web type thing because they try cutting it and blowing it up, and it won't. It's super strong, so they have to throw a wire to the monk, and so the monk can pull the helicopter low enough to the ground. It does not look low enough not low enough to the roof, so everyone can jump out.
Everyone looks like they're just jumping out in midair. Yeah.
He catches Kathleen and Kathleen's mum, but I was like, surely the scientist and Adam and Brian are just going to break their legs jumping at that height.
Oh no!
But worse, Brian gets swiped by the beast. But I'm not clear. But at the end, when he changes whether that is the attack or whether that's the injection that the scientists gave him.
See, that's the thing. I think I was like, maybe they're not spider webs. Maybe they're actually like tentacles, because he got like stabbed by one, and it was like, it's the stinger that gets you. And I was like, okay, maybe it had a stinger at the end, or the scientist just going like, yeah, let me just put a painkiller in that and make you okay. And he's initially like, oh no, but I imagine in the next episode he's going to be, haha, my plan is working.
Yeah, it'll be that detail they mentioned, that if you get stung by it, it might not infect you because they need 24 hours to reconstitute the venom. And it's going to like do an autopsy on the bioweapon and saying, wait a minute, this stinger couldn't have been full of Brian was poisoned.
Yeah. But not before, I imagine, Adam dies, because I feel like he's next. The poor bastards.
But yeah, the CG is somehow worse in this episode than the previous two, because that final monster that they spend half the episode fighting barely moves.
Yeah, it just sort of sits on top of the building, shooting tentacles at you and pulling you towards it.
Yeah.
Doesn't even get to swing that fucking mace tail thing.
They defeat it by the ninja crashing the helicopter into it. He says, I don't really know how to fly this thing, but I'm pretty sure I can hit that thing with this.
And it looks like he's dead, but he's actually hanging from a wire. Total ninja move.
Yeah, it's a little annoying. Feels a little slow, and the CG is so bad, because I like the characters a lot. I like the sheer cheese-mo of it. Yeah, I like the monk. How the monk's like perfectly fine. He's totally on board with being in the future with this giant.
I thought it was in the afterlife, but clearly there's some sort of giant bird. Oh, it's being attacked. I should help. Hey, bird, come over here. You know, he's just totally cool with it. He just goes with the flow.
And the ninja getting annoyed at the monk and the samurai for being too modest about what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the monk blushing when he's near the mum.
But the sheer amount of times Brian was like, Professor, are you sure you can cure the virus? And the professor's like, oh, yes, everything's going to plan. And Brian just like, oh my God, thank goodness. Oh, I'm still injured. And, it was just like, oh my God, dude, he's so evil. He's super evil. He's up to shit anyway, at the very least. The cheese is very annoying, but it is not a good show.
No, it's not a well-made show. I think
that's
the
thing that's thrown out. That's the thing that's actually throwing it into not entertaining, because other than that, it's actually quite entertaining.
Yeah. I think getting Yoshitaka Amano was their big get, and they couldn't quite back anything else up with that, which is funny because he from early part of his career he was doing animated character designs. He could be all over this shit, and it just like too difficult for them to go with. No, obviously there's like the monsters in it. They're not that intimidating to look at most of the time.
Yeah, the monsters are the problem.
Yeah,
the monsters were just like a little bit better. I think I might. Well, I don't know. The problem is also I've only got so much time in a week, and everything else is so much better than it. So it's not like it's a hard cut to go, oh, which one do I want to get rid of? Is it this one? No, it's this one. You're out, Gibiate. You're out, kicking your ass to the curb. Because we've got such things as Deca-Dence episode 4 to watch, and this episode is called Transmission.
So we're just going to name them after engine parts, I guess, is the continuing theme.
And we open with death as people attack the Gadolls and get attacked by the Gadolls. And we get panic from Natsume. She's flung into it trying to save Pipe. But then she remembers how to deal with a panic attack, deals with it. And then we get some more absolutely awesome animation.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I recall this is what was used in the original teaser for it, actually.
Oh, like they just went straight to this. Yeah, that'll be a good way of drawing people in. Like we'll be talking about it later in the episode as well. But what I love in this short piece, you see a bunch of the players, the guys who have their avatars going in. It's like, woohoo, yeah, we got them, bro, and then they just get slaughtered like really quickly. It's like just a couple of like really crappy players who are on for this raid kind of thing. They get slaughtered. But from her point of view, she's like, Jesus Christ, they just got fucked up. What's going to happen to me, kind of thing. Whereas, so for her, like, there are really high stakes. But for them, they're just like, oh, man, I'm going to have to fucking get a new skin now. This is bullshit.
Oh, man, I lost my account,
Yeah, they throw down their headset. This is fucking bollocks. I got to fucking pay for a new subscription. Like, we're seeing these kind of fucking different levels as the audience. But, yeah, from her point of view, it is deadly fucking dangerous. But, like, from our point of view, it's just like, yeah, those guys weren't important. Their deaths didn't matter, kind of thing, because they didn't die, for one.
Yeah, but the Pipe gets rescued, and he's happy to be rescued. But then, oh no, another monster appears, some sort of bat ant armadillo. Again, this makes Gibiate even worse. Is the monster design in this show?
Yeah, like even that weird skinny thing that she was fighting, I was just like the way its eyes kind of like flicked around and it shooting, like they all seem to shoot spikes, which is kind of like using your enemy's thing, because they all shoot syringes, that kind of thing. It's a very nice look and a very nice way to fight the monsters. Yeah, and
this is defeated by Kurenai, the strongest tanker, who then turns to Natsume and asks her to join Squad 6, the tanker squad. Join the power. And also then we learn her aura of cool is completely blown as she sees that Kaburagi is there and starts crushing on him.
That was such a good bit, because her just turning to her and is like, hey kid, you got some moves. Who you with? You're not with the thing? Oh, you're signing up. You're one of us now. And everyone just going like, you're with us, kid. And her just going like, oh my God, it's the guy I like. And it's like, oh. And all the other guys going like, oh, fucking, she never changes.
Oh, man. Captain, we got a rep to maintain here. Embarrassing
the really cool squads. For like 5 minutes there. You looked fucking super cool.
Oh, the other guild's gonna be fun trashing us on the fucking message boards later.
Meanwhile, back at the corporation, Kaburagi meets with the robot who is the captain of Deca-Dence.
I was going to say, I didn't remember the name, but was that the guy who was the captain? Yeah, I figured it was him.
Mizunoto. The name, shouldn't I?
He explains that the next event is going to be the biggest event, or we get like an advert for it as well, don't we? The biggest event in history.
Us as the audience, we'd get the advert for the fucking game that they're playing. It's like, oh, it's the biggest event, so you got to get here. We're going to take them out at their home, kind of thing.
Sub-Zero battle in the snow.
In a place that used to be known as Mount Everest.
And you have a bunch of robots kind of going like, cool, what's cold like? They're just like, that sounds interesting. Yeah, I'm up for that.
You gotta sell you new gear now. You gotta get new stuff for your character. Of course, it's gonna be environmental hazards here. You've gotta be this level to get the gear or above to get into it. It's all fucking nickel and diming you.
The captain said, well, Kaburagi, I've got some good news. We want you back as a gear. They want you back as a gear now after your performance.
Like, check out these comments you got. And he's like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. And Kaburagi's like, I thought we're not doing the whole like ranker thing. And it's like, no, we're going to do a new thing where there'll be like the top players kind of thing.
Yeah, well, because it explains the next event is impossible to complete, and it'll decimate the powers forces.
From like A rank down, basically.
And it will reduce morale, but then legendary heroes will return, such as you, Kaburagi. You'll be one of the legendary heroes.
You guys are going to come in and fucking save the day. It's scripted, but the fans will eat it right up.
Yeah, but cool. We can just like get them some more in there. I mean, we can make you like an SSS plus rare character to sign up with your guild. It'll be great. It'll be great. People are going to love it. It'll be top ratings altogether.
And obviously he's thinking, like, the kids going into
somebody I know. This used to not affect me, but now somebody I care about may get killed permanently as a result of this. So I feel conflicted.
Meanwhile, back in the other real world, the real world which is fake, the
constructed
Natsumi
world.
is meeting with the people she'll be training with, Mindy, Mundy, and Mendy.
I was going to say I could remember their three names. I did enjoy their three names, though.
Monday.
Then we get a sequence where basically she alienates her old friends and these potential new friends. And then Kaburagi tries to get her to stay at home.
And Henderson's her.
Yeah. And almost gives away the entire situation.
This entire thing's made... You've been set up to fail. I mean... You're meant to fail. You can't win, kid.
It's a system, man. It's society. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, and
lots of times.
He can't convince her, so he just stabs through her flyer. I forgot what those ball things are called straight away. Those little engines that they were. So she can't.
Milk as well.
Yeah. Which, as we've stated, like this is expensive shit that he's just spilling all over the floor. Just like just retire, kid. You're no good. So she has a heart-to-heart with the best tanker.
Kurenai. Yeah.
Yes. And Kurenai can see very clearly, as we can the audience, that she's been crying because, that's kind of a shitty thing to happen. And she's like, it's all right. It's not so bad that you want to quit. Like, I've wanted to quit like quite a lot, but I got to appear good for the guy I fancy is her thing. I imagine it's a little more than that, but...
Well, she says, like, when you're here in this metallic moving fortress, it's all fucking like rust and metal and pools of strange green liquid and galvanized metal shacks. When you're out there in the field zipping around, you feel like you're a bit freer. You're free of this place at least for a little while.
It's basically being out there fighting in the open is a reminder of what she's striving towards, like humans that don't need to live inside a tank of liquid, basically. Yeah.
So if they're tankers, and then the Squad Gibiate are tankers, so they're not in on the fact that this is a game to them.
For them, it's survival. Yeah.
And I gotta wonder to them, like, do some guilds? I suppose they're like the robots are all in this, but there's some like of the players who are whatever just think that she's like doing a really intense role play. I suppose she'd be like an NPC character who joins up at a window. Yeah. It's probably Hogwarts.
Yeah, like a pretty cool NPC character. Like I think that's what they're trying to do with the new system with the robots, kind of going like, yeah, we'll have like main characters basically who will show up for raids, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Or just doing a very intense role play. Wow, you're really into this. We think you're a human. Wow.
Yeah, so it leaves you with the weird feeling of like her wanting her to follow her dreams while knowing that following her dreams is something which has been manipulated by the system.
Something would have to happen, whether in this event or whatever happens afterwards, that pulls back the veil somewhat, right?
Yeah, I feel like Kabaragi's gonna have to break the rules a little, because that was the one thing that was kind of holding him back to outright saying that it's a rigged fucking system.
But he wants to see how far she can get from this with his support. Now, of course, she's gotten this far, and he wasn't to know that the next big event in the game was going to be a mass slaughter that no one could pass.
And it kind of shows that she would do well by herself, because obviously her skills were recognized instantly on the battlefield. And it's kind of like, yeah, by applying for it through official channels, because she officially doesn't exist anymore, she couldn't get it. So it's like, whatever. But as soon as I see her, it's like, oh, we're signing you up right the fuck away. Like, yeah.
You can look forward to her getting blamed for some deaths when they go on a mission, because Mendy didn't react very well to her robots, her cyborg hands, and kind of going off.
It was Mindy's the one who didn't like, who took a Genna, and it was Mundy and Mindy were okay.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, you can't be trusted because you use the weapon on the field. You can't be trusted a weapon that just go off in your hand like that. And I presume they're probably going to be like, probably some casualties on that side. And they're going to look saying, if you hadn't come along. And she won't feel like it actually belongs in any world then.
As soon as I saw all three of them together, I was like, at least two of you are dying.
Yeah, if not all three. I mean, like two of them so that the third can complain, and then maybe the third, yeah. But yeah, I do like the artifice of kind of seeing the construction of the world, and it being a game to one side, but with real stakes to the other. It's really, really good.
Yeah, my guess would be that Kabaragi will also join in the fight, as he was ordered not to, and somehow the pair of them who shouldn't be there being there allows them to complete the event.
Like, what if it's something like okay, here's the enemy's weak spot. Everyone's going to think it's this big glowy bit, because it's always the big glowy bit, but it's actually going to be like over here, like the tip of its tail or something like that. It's like, that's where you need to go, and all the heroes are going to come in and hit it at the weak spot. But he's like, well, I know how to win this, because presumably he has to know how to win it to actually win it, inverted commas.
Well, he's not going to be in this one. This event is supposed to be a defeat, and then
I thought the heroes were going to show up at the end of this event.
No, he was told specifically not to take part in this event. Wait till this event's over, and then we'll bring you back as a gear with one of these legendary heroes, presumably, possibly with other people wearing the skins of the other guys who got sacked as when they were doing the ranking system previously. But yeah, I wonder if that's the point at which they ruin the plans of the system and declared bugs and have to go on the run or something.
Because if you defeat the boss that was meant to be impossible, it's like, that's bad. That actually is the Gadol nest, and that does mess with us a little bit.
Differential gear is next week's episode.
Yeah, engine part. It's got me thinking a bit of it's the flavor du jour of what's been the last decade now, of the one where you reincarnate, or you're trapped inside the Memorburger, and just thinking, this is what it would actually be like, lads. You're all like thinking you're going to have a savage time like living inside your video game, but this is probably what happened to you. You're going to make an event like this you can't.
You're not high enough level
to get it
or something.
And then you get killed. And if you were still in your everyday life working in the office and come home and play the game at night, where you were like kind of bored but otherwise fairly content, then you would still be alive right now. But no, you had to go into the game. You had to be reincarnated as King Shit McDude and get all the ladies.
Like, it's definitely like a more interesting take on that kind of style of the video game and stuff than a lot of those things are. A lot of those things are wish fulfillment, whereas this goes like, how fucked up is that for like the people living in the in-universe kind of world, right?
Yeah.
It's much more interesting take in that regard.
And as well as how like beaten down you just like fucking after this fucking happens to you, after you like get your fucking character wiped or killed in this event, you're still gonna come back because you got like a gimmick lined up to draw you back in, and that's how fun and transparent it is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, Log Horizon
corporate
does
mechanics.
have a little bit of this in its plot.
Yeah, just the vast majority of them don't really bother to actually
A lot of them
interrogate,
don't.
like, you know, this more so. Aren't like online opportunities weird? Wasn't this old thing in the video game weird? Like, why is chest lying on? Why is there chicken inside a brick wall? That's so dumb. And that's as far as they get with their sense of humor. They don't actually like really delve into it in any way, shape, or form.
Because Log Horizon has the thing that all the player characters, they do respawn when they get killed, but early on, there's a character who turns out to be an NPC who's decided he wants to be a player character, and he has the issue that Natsumi would have in this, that he can't respawn because he's not designed to.
And it's the weird thing of like her former friends and Bully, who are like, we don't want to kind of associate with you because we think it's kind of fucked up that you want to go out and put your life on the line and shit. Like, it's not that they're mad at her for it. It's just that it's a way of thinking they can't possibly get into. So it's like, are the humans being inspired by the players, the robot players, to go like, yeah, fucking, they're risking their lives for us. We can only do the same. Inspiring heroism where there's no stakes to the players, whereas there's real stakes to the people.
Then, moving on, it's the returning champion, Millionaire Detective, Unlimited Balance, Episode 3, The Sinews of War, Infinite Money.
Getting a bit wordy now. And
I did look it up, though. That's a literal quote. They didn't... I was like, they gotta have fucking rewritten that, right? No.
I saw, I sponsored is still top of the heap so far, but we'll see what they come up with in later episodes.
We opened up with our cop getting to meet his partner's grandmother.
Wait, I gotta stop you in the Millionaire Detective. Perky Pat.
Oh yes, Perky Pat. I forgot to mention Perky Pat last week.
I had it in my notes. I just read it there, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I forgot to say it." Yeah.
So this was more an episode 2 of Deca-Dence thing.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, Days of Perky Pat, Philip K. Dick. This feels a bit like a Deca-Dence, not Millionaire Detective. Feels a bit like a inverse of that, where the toys are living vicariously through the humans, whereas in Days of Perky Pat, you've got humans who are in a horrible hellscape of living on Mars, if I remember correctly, and in order to remember a better life, they use this like a toy called the Days of Perky Pat, where they imagine themselves living dreary suburban lives,
like a Barbie Playhouse kind of thing.
Yeah. And yeah, it was the, I think, the moment when I saw, caught on the character design, that Kaburagi has like a holes in his heels to stand himself up as if he's a toy on various other stands and toys. I was like, oh yeah, they're not so much robots, the people who are living out this fantasy. They're actually toys.
They're toy robots. Yeah.
That was all.
It soon will be toys.
Yes.
I think it's relevant. And if it's not directly what they're getting from something that got it from those short stories and whatnot.
Yeah. It's been a while since I read the short story, and it comes back in the Three Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch, which, again, I've read a little bit more recently, but it's probably still 15 years at this point. Though I did just buy the Audible book, so maybe I'll listen along while watching this and see if there's anything else that strikes me as having some sort of resonance. But yeah, I think you could definitely add Deca-Dence to, like, when people say, what are some anime for Philip K. Dick fans? I think this is definitely one of those now. Probably more so than a lot of the ones which get recommended generally.
Armitage the Third.
That's for H.P. Lovecraft fans. Back to Millionaire Detective, Balance Unlimited. What are these guys' names? I can't remember. It's been so long since we've seen them. It's Daisuke Kanbei and Haru Kato.
Yeah.
And Haru's getting to meet Daisuke's grandmother. The bodyguard's also here. We did not get to see their adventure in Hong Kong that they were heading to at the end of the last episode.
Yeah, that's a shame, but that's actually a fun way to that. And also, like the guy comes by. It's like oh, I don't know. Pleased to meet you. I'm just like the garden, just like a man about town. Then Kato was going, so you're the dude that Daisuke is almost calling up to get him to buy stuff. And the guy go, no, dummy, that's an AI computer that is like what's the gardener? How does the gardener going to hack into the Tokyo metro system to change all the fucking lights around? What, are you stupid? What?
But more importantly, Daisuke is chastised by his grandmother that he must listen to his elders and betters. Not only is he a senior in the police force, he's a senior in age, and he should listen to Haru's wisdom.
Like, he's initially like, oh, he doesn't give us any trouble at all. I mean, like, he's a bit flippant with money, but other than that, he's no problem. And she immediately starts chewing him out. It's like, yes, mother, kind of thing. But he's like giving him around fucking the stink eye, and he's like, oh, I have power over you here. Excellent. It's a good bit of like silent parent judging, I guess.
Yeah. I still don't know what exactly the relationship of his bodyguard engineer is, because she has the same surname.
It could be like adopted to the family, and he likes his adopted sister. You know how it is.
Well, I don't think I don't think the relationship they're suggesting here is between him and the woman. I think it's between Daisuke and Haru. Because of the way it's like, now come and meet my grandmother.
Yeah, very much so. Your partner in multiple ways, yeah.
Yeah, I do like every time Haru teases him that he just drives the car more dangerously in this episode.
That's a good recurring joke, yeah.
But yeah, he's taking the train back to Tokyo. He's sitting next to this kid who's heading to Tokyo to go to a prep school because he failed to get into the college he wanted to get into. And he feels sorry for him, gives him some food, some advice, gives him a charm, and then gets off the train and then immediately learns that kid has hijacked the train and kidnapped a load of middle-aged women who are determined to get to the final concert of their favourite band, whatever the risk.
I like that as a good sub thing. It's just like, well, what's the hostage's motivation? That kind of thing. Besides escaping the situation, it's like, we gotta get to the concert.
What is it going like? What's it going on later on? We gotta get this train. It's already the concert starts in 15 minutes. But they're holding Nanami hostage. I didn't know. No, Nanami wants to get there. She said to leave her behind and go on. We gotta get out of here. Really trying to wrestle with their morals. I really want to save my friend, but I really want to see Yoko Rainbow one last time.
Do not get in between these old ladies and their boy band is the lesson I think learned. Yeah.
We also get some more background to Haru. We learn that the guy from the First Division used to be his partner, and we see how he left First Division. There was a bank robbery, and the chief of the First Division told Haru to make a shot. He winged the bank robber, sent the bank robber's gun flying, but then a bank teller picked up the gun, who presumably she was involved in the robbery as well, and was going to shoot Haru, and he shot her dead.
Like it was a body shot rather than like a winging him in the hand.
More than he intended to do, and just take her down. But she probably was like probably had to go out to the hospital. I imagine it was this whole thing about she's going to sue her ass into the ground. We gotta kick your ass out of the unit. Sorry, kid.
I wasn't sure he'd actually done anything wrong. I figured he just lost his nerve.
But he seems as well broken up about it because he also he froze on the spot because she's pointing a gun at me, but she's frightened of her life. Her hands are shaking. Well, what do I do? Do I take her out? Do I leave her be? What do I do? He can't really forgive himself for what he carried out with.
Yeah, we'll have to see
I'm
like
with
the
you,
specifics
Dwayne.
of it. But
I'm not sure if he was kicked out or whether he has to transfer himself.
like I think he just didn't want to carry a gun anymore. Seems to be the suggestion, and in this episode as well. But and like as I'm like watching a police procedural in this fucking time and age, and what this is about is like he used extreme force, was not fucking happy about it, and wants to de-escalate this situation. I'm like, fucking A, this is exactly
Yes.
for this fucking time and place.
And Canvey's thing is all these things are a social problem, and they actually need money spending on them rather than
This problem needs money. How much money can I throw at this problem?
But it's weird, like, you know, he comes in and
Literally, the problem can be solved with money. This entire fucking situation would have been solved with money.
Like, he's flashed with cash, and he seems to have like little regard for like the procedures. But the thing is, so procedures and the fucking everything is what holding everything back and not freeing up the resources that were needed to flow to.
Yeah.
Again, it's come to the fore in recent weeks. Maybe like a police officer can also be like a social worker and a psychotherapist or whatever else they are asked to do, which they are not trained for and don't deal with very well.
Yeah, because he was the first guy off the train. He was the first guy on the scene, and he had to back away because the kid had a hostage, had a bunch of hostages, that kind of thing. So he informs the higher up guys, and they're just like, "Get out of here! You're barely a cop," kind of thing. This is our case now. You know, you don't have jurisdiction, etc., etc. But the thing is, he knows this kid, and he talked to this kid, and he's like, he doesn't seem like a killer. He must be doing it for some other fucking reason. And the cops have come to the conclusion, well, he's streaming it onto, what's their fake word for YouTube?
Chain tube.
Chain tube.
It's a Bitcoin's making kids go crazy and do stupid things to earn imaginary money. So if he gets like 10 million views on Chain Tube, he got enough crypto coins to pay for his sister's surgery in America, which was a detail that Carter remembered him dropping earlier on before he started waving the gun around.
But like the cops, like he's just streaming onto the internet. He has made no demands, and he appears kind of manic. And we can watch him online now. He seems pretty manic about it. So it's like, okay, he's probably just crazy. So we're just gonna have a sniper shoot him. Yeah, we're just gonna have a sniper shoot him. That's our plan. And it's just like fucking hell, guys.
So that means
it's like
Batman time.
All the kids get to watch, which is great.
But yeah, I do. But again, I do like how he has the initial Batman, but then he gets to the end, he never solves it by punching people.
It's like the Batman thing is like, dude, you have loads of money as Bruce Wayne. Couldn't you just solve the problem with money? And he does. It's pretty great. Like even the bit where like, you know, it's like, hey, he gets called up as like the chief's like, you can take the shot on this kid, and our Batman guy hands him a fucking gun. It's like, where did you get that? Infinite money. Yeah.
And
he has a gun, but he doesn't fucking use it. Basically, yeah.
The best bit of ridiculous money spending though is when the middle-aged women are about to mob our kidnapper.
They've given up all hope. It's too late for them to get to the concert at this fucking stage. They're not going to let people in by the time we get to the fucking arena. This is bullshit. Let's fucking take him, ladies.
And he flies the band in to distract them.
That was so fucking good. They're doing a thing on like a window washing thing on the side of a building. They've set up an impromptu concert on the side of a building. It was just like, that was fucking amazing. I love it.
They got pulled away from their final gig for this.
Maybe they're just going to be, it's like the band will arrive 1 hour late or something like that. You know, they do a couple of songs for the train and get out of there. I mean, like, I assume they got well paid for it based off of the amount at the end.
They always give you the cost, like whoever's doing the Wikipedia is converting it into various currencies. So it would be 10 million, over 10 million euro were spent in this episode.
1,271,500,000 yen.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
But yeah, essentially it's telling the story that Daisuke now he's listened to his grandmother and he's trusted his partner.
Yeah, and he's actually using your man has given him access to the butlers, and he's like, okay, give me the kids' emails before they're about to bust in and shoot him or anything. I was just like, okay, that's what he wanted to go to America for his sister for, because he didn't specify, and that way he can de-escalate the situation. And your man can just walk in and is like, I'll pay for the operation, no problem. Infinite money. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And then we get the coda of the chief of the First Division. He compliments Haru on his police work. They've still got a good relationship despite the past. That's the thing which makes me think, because He's always
Your man
like,
thinks he's a good cop, but he's like, yeah, I saw you lost your nerve, and it's like you did a good job today, kind of thing. It was just like,
Yeah.
because it's Takai, isn't it? Yeah, he's made it clear to Haru that he doesn't blame Haru for the thing we see in the flashback, because it was him who told him to take the shots. But obviously, Haru blames himself to a degree, and
his partner definitely has some kind of thing. It was like, what, you didn't have the balls to like fucking shoot someone? What the hell is wrong with you? Kind of thing. It's like that's a good cop. A cop shouldn't be fucking shooting people. Yeah.
Yeah, but we also see like how much that guy was idolizing him when he was younger as well. When Haru was doing crazy stuff like leaping from building to building.
He did about 50 feet between those two buildings. I don't know how he did that.
He tucked and rolled. It was fine. This show's fucking. It's still great.
It is, and the crime setup. I was like, oh, it's very. I'm counting the days to when there's another canon story in Detective Conan, because it's like he introduces all these characters. It was just the decision to make the old ladies being held hostage, just giving them that a little bit extra.
Just that characterization that they have a motivation outside of surviving the situation, like more important to them than surviving the situation for some fun.
And they didn't wait for the cops to save him entirely. They just took matters into their own hands. We will fight for the band.
The other thing they did with the infinite money was they deleted all footage, including like online, of this entire hostage thing. So I guess this kid's not going to get a very bad sentence. It's like there's no fucking evidence, basically.
It wasn't a real gun either.
He technically, claimed he was going to shoot people, but couldn't have even done that. So, another good one from this. I'm glad to see it back again. It is a delight.
On to Appare-Ranman episode 5. Except I missed a bunch of stuff off because I'm looking at the wrong list. So let's go back to Fruits Basket 17. You will, I'm sure of it. I was distracted by that spider, or maybe I am that spider.
Oh God. Deca-Dence. It's all about making memories in Kyoto and later Nara.
Because they're on school trip, which both Toru and Kyo are kind of like, wait, we had a trip? Oh fuck, we've done no prep.
Like this and sugar is incense. This is a time for young romance. You should be out there confessing your love to the one you deeply care about.
Well, I mean, the way he's putting it is more sort of, go get some. And they're all just kind of like, I like the way they do join forces to escort Toru out of his fucking weirdness. It's the one time they're just like, let's just get him away from this. Let's get her away from this fucker.
They're taking in the sights. They're not getting caught up in all of this falderall with confess your love to somebody. That us girls are going to come back here. I'm going to enjoy the views, eat some nice food, witness a murder, because that's what you do when you go to Kyoto.
We got to hit all the high points. Yeah. They recite some haikus, which are mostly learning mnemonics for school.
Yeah,
not the same thing, guys. No. The only one who I think who gets confessed to is Kyo, who, and it's framed really nice because he's like, I don't even know you. I've no reason to be nice to you because I don't know you. I'm only nice to people I like, and obviously this is contrasted later when he's interacting with Toru.
Yeah. It's like, and the girl's going, well, you could be a bit more polite about talking to me like that, right? Be person who doesn't know you at all. Yeah. And they're like, what? And everyone's like shadowing him, wanting to see what goes down.
They want to see the drama mostly, and they got two boys. Was like, what the fuck, dude? This is like the romance fucking shit. They're really upset they weren't confessed to.
Yeah, they also thought Yuki would be swarmed, but actually the Prince Yuki Club have become shadow and they lurk in the background. It's like a clan of ninja.
Protecting him from evil, but also wanting to confess to him if any of the other ones drop their guard. They're cock blocking each other, basically. Yeah.
But Toru's kind of wondered, he, that's the kind of way you're saying, it's nothing, don't mind it. He's being pretty dismissive. He's going to be dismissive of me. I feel like a little more upset the way he is I used to before. What is that? Catches up with him a little later on. Then he's just off by himself, just smouldering. But the cats are drawn to him because he's a cat. The Cats
Oh,
like
sorry, he gets confessed to twice, I guess, technically, yeah.
him. Yeah.
The lady cat does get subtitles when she is spurned by him.
Yeah. And he's just saying like, "Yo, leave it off. No, I'm obviously a human. I got a cat spirit inside me, but you know, I'm not going away." And then it's fun saying, "Oh, I see. Meow 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 meow. You're with her. Meow 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 meow. Well, I never. Meow 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 meow."
It's good stuff.
Guys, she's still outside of him, and the way that she speaks to her is like, "Hey, like, what's up? You hungry?" No, I'm fine. I got something to show. Well, got some time. Want to like go for a walk? Want to check out some of the sites? And just
like he's inadvertently like basically offered her on a date, basically,
kind of that.
because he's that comfortable with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like as he's like going on to walk, he grabs onto just the corner of his sleeve, but he makes a move in and claps his hand into hers, and I don't know.
Yeah, there's just like a comfortable intimacy there. That's it's really nice to see how they've changed towards that, and how easily they fall into it.
Yeah, it's very sweet, because Toru is still thinking he can make me sad or happy with a single remark. Like, what is this?
What is that about?
It's love. You tell me what it is.
It's love, you stupid kid.
It's still very sweet though.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Transplant to Nara. But it's Nara because they got them deer running around. You can run right up to you, and they're very tame and offer them things. Hanajima and Uotani think, I can tame food. And there's this little bit where you guys, Uotani is just like behind Kyo with a bit of food going. Come here.
Yeah, just making the animal attraction noises to Kyo, trying to tame his savage heart as a piss take of him. He's not really having it, obviously, but it's a good joke nonetheless.
Talking about souvenir shopping, and Yuki is thinking, as long as I got some good memories from this trip that'll stay in my heart, that's enough of a souvenir for me. And Toru was like, I'm sure you will. I think you really will. He's going around town then, he's like trying to wanting to get in for the student council. He's his friends there, whatever his friends he's making.
His new friends, yeah.
Because they're underclassmen, they're Machi and the other dude, and he's like, no, they didn't want anything, but someone bringing back something. So that's like hanging around with Kakeru, catch up with him shopping, and come up for water, and he asks her, so you're in the same group as that Toru chick, huh? It's like, why do you keep asking after him, man? You got some weird fucking thing for her. Yeah, I do kind of like her.
What if I said I liked her? What if I said I was going to ask her out? Huh? What do you do about it? What would you do about it? And he's like, I'm not going to do nothing. She's her own person. She can make her own decisions. But if you hurt her, I'll fucking kick your ass. And he's like, oh, what do you mean by that? It's like, we won't be friends anymore. And he's like, oh my God, that sounded so fucking childish. Why did I say it like that? But then your man is genuinely upset by that.
We won't be friends. Well, I'm showing you any of my dirty videos then.
And then it becomes a conversation between him and the other student council girl where she's kind of like, what are you guys talking about? And he's like, showing each other dirty videos. Oh, you boys. And it's a good misunderstanding kind of thing. But it's also Yuki kind of going like, this is all right. This isn't the worst fucking thing.
I'm actually kind of laughing at this. And Kakeru just drops to his friend. Oh, yeah, I've got a girlfriend. He's just being completely upfront about it. He's not thinking, I could kind of be the kind of person able to be very upfront and just tell someone straight out what they think or how they feel about him. It's worth noting there, he's saying, if you hurt her, I won't forgive you. He's thinking in his mind of Kyo as well.
Yes, as someone who has physically and I guess emotionally at times hurt Toru. So maybe that's the hang up he still has with Kyo. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sign of him from earlier on, and just when he saw as earlier how he's being very dismissive of that other girl who was confessing to Kyo, that and give him a little clip across the ear, like their usual chick from back in the day. I remember that. But it's a sign of he's like, Toru has eyes for you, Kyo, whether she realizes it or not, and you had the same for her. And I think I can see how it is. I'm not going to stand in the way of her happiness. But if you
he literally said that to his friend. It's like, I'm not going to stand in someone else's way, even if it would make me upset. But if you hurt her, I'll wreck you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because he cares about her, but he's not going to stop her from going with someone else. which is it's a good way. He understands, I think, more so than himself. Than Kyo and Toru understand their own feelings. I think he's getting a better understanding. Yeah.
And he's seen as well, like, he has to, like, he might have had an infatuation with her for a time because she brought this positivity into his life. He needs to be able to build happiness for himself, independent of what she brings. Because it's just this thing, like, I got the student council thing going on right now, and I said up to my mother at last. I gotta come into my own. I gotta be my own man. I gotta come into myself. It brings him back a leaf. It's very poetic, it's a lovely kind of leaf from
I saw it falling in the air, it was beautiful. So I said I'd bring you one, and then he says to, like, the younger guy, he's like, "You want a leaf?" And he's like, "I don't want a fucking leaf. What the hell?" But then the girl's kind of like staring at this leaf, and it's like, "That is actually beautiful." Or she doesn't say it, but like the kind of way it's framed she is touched by it, which is nice.
It was good. I mean, that the backgrounds and such were lovely, Especially when you kind of class trip to a lovely historical location, you're going to, like, really go for it there. But it was, like, some, like, nice sights in there. Of course, they go in the middle of autumn when the foliage is looking beautiful.
The colors, the backgrounds, it's all really quite a nice, paints a nice scene.
Yeah, I can't speak for Nara, but the Kyoto ones, like, they look pretty good. I've been to that bamboo forest. It's pretty swish. Reminds me of that fight from Ninja Scroll more so than this, but yeah. Very happy. That's nice memories made. And like this very subtle and very gentle progression of these romances. They're like moving along at this very very gentle pace. And it's sweet. It just is. It makes it feel nice.
Yeah, it's also nice. Besides the changes we've seen in the characters, it's fun to get, like, the different reactions, because obviously Toru's friends are there, and some of them are kind of like interacting with Kyo or interacting with Yuki and that kind of thing, and it's like you get a lot of fun banter between them because we know the characters at this stage, so it's nice to kind of mess up the joke pairings, as it were.
Right, I've rearranged the list into some semblance of order. So now we're going to talk about Appare-Ranman, episode 5, The Eve, and so Seth Rich Carter, he's not going to let these riffraffs in, to the point of he's probably a racist.
I mean, like, no one else seems to be racist on the show, but if anyone's going to be, this guy, yeah, for sure. And the only reason that our boy has managed to get the our mechanically minded Appare and our the little kid in is, like, it's free food. They're like, can't turn down a free meal.
The pre-race party where they'll be drawing in a raffle the order of the starting positions.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Seth Rich Carter's not going to let them in. But then when Crazy TJ shows up, for some reason he's not quite as determined to stop Crazy TJ from entering.
When he when he shows up with the record player on his fucking
gramophone, yes.
Oh, that was amazing. And that's the thing, he has to check in at the hotel. Oh my god, that was really good.
Oh, this is like that. Like, that's.
I don't know where he got a fucking record of contemporary hip hop, but fucking the fact that he just has the gramophone on the shoulder, I was like, that is it's so beautiful. And the fact that when it cuts to him in the wacky races, he's listening to that still. That's just his theme because he literally brings it with him.
So he got one record,
It's his favorite record.
There's only one of this kind that's been pressed in existence.
Yeah. There's a couple of people who've got a lot of character design going on in this episode, and Crazy TJ is the first one, and he's a pretty amazing character, particularly when he takes a shine to Appare.
And Appare does like everything to make him hate him. It's like, your hair looks stupid. It's like, it sure does, kid. I like you. It's like, what the hell? This guy would murder you. Shut up.
Come on, I'll buy you a beer. What? Don't touch me. I don't drink. Get off me.
It's the fact that someone would stand up to him he finds incredibly amusing, which is working out in his favor.
And Kosami is right. He probably is wearing his formal attire. He's wearing his best kimono to this thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's his only kimono, but yeah.
I was going to say, he has been wearing it long, and he probably smells of grease from coming there from the Bob's dine-in. But yeah, so he gets Seth's tie to wear to smarten him up, and the way they've drawn him as tying the tie is fantastic as well.
It's like he got it mostly right, but not correct by any stretch.
Like fun Seth's character is trying to schmooze up to Al Leon, oh, like the scion of B&W, pleased to meet you. And then Kosami rocks up, hey lads, how's it going? Hey Kosami, good to see you.
Because initially he's taken aback. He runs like, has there been some trouble? And because he sees your man's not wearing ties, like, oh, we had some riffraff we had to sort out. And then this motherfucker shows up, and is like, hey buddy, how's it going? And
nice
he's
tie,
like, oh.
dude. Thanks.
And he's like, you know these people? He's like, yeah, they're my rival.
Yeah, and we got Toto and Appare are over sitting at a table with a posh-looking couple. No, it's like literally Seth is the only one bothered by their presence.
Yeah. Like everyone knows, like, yeah, there's a lot of weirdos in this race, huh? Like this guy's just from generic Europe, not even specific a country. Okay, fair enough. Everyone's cool with it.
But yeah, Crazy TJ is. Oh yeah, we also have show up though. Is we've got.
Guilty
Cigar.
I fucking love it.
And his mate Chase.
Guilty Cigar appears to be Lord Humongous.
Yeah.
I also presume a Mexican Lord Humongous with the hat.
He's wearing a mask, so there's every chance that he's not actually guilty.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking Chase is just like playing up the guy.
It's 3 bulldogs in a trench coat.
And yeah, the stop-off points are Ely, Denver, Kansas City, Chicago, and then New York is your final destination.
I like their explaining of the rules. Is like, okay, the reason they have to stop at these points because this will really be good for the cars because they'll have their pit crew there and they can do up everything. But for everyone else, it's basically you have to stop there for 8 hours. But it also gives them time to stop and interact as characters not driving a car.
Yes.
It's a good excuse to that. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking excellent. I wasn't put off by that at all. I was just like, no, this is good.
But it does give an advantage to the big companies always. They have all the time they need to do up their cars and tune them and fix them.
Yeah, it's weird that one of the main characters, the title character, in fact, is the character who's probably not going to interact with the other people because he's going to be busy working on his car doing those stops.
Presumably, he'll like really come alive in races as he seems to do. So yeah.
So they're going to draw the starting position, but TJ is having none of this. Though we've also had our wacky races run down before this.
All the specs. Engine.
Yes. We get the cars spinning and stuff. It's good fun stuff.
But we don't see that Richard Reisman again. We don't get to see what he looks like because that's being said as what's the guy's name? Dylan is leaving to go and stare at a picture of a woman called Claudia.
And obviously the kid wants to go out. I like as he was packing a hatchet to this fucking thing. It's just like I just want to ask him a few questions. Like, why are you bringing a hatchet?
One specific question. I need a particular tool for. Well, the way I see it, it'll be one question or 10 questions. It's up to him.
So yes, he explains that he wants to know who has this tattoo, and he says, "Well, that tattoo is associated with Gil the Snake." So Gil T. Cigar has had 3 different names. He's also been called Gil the Butcher in this episode.
And the kid's like, "Right, so I'll just go kill him." And he's like, "You dumb motherfucker, listen to me finish my shit, right?"
Not that simple. It's his
anyone who
henchmen
works
have
for
the
him
tattoo.
Gets this tattoo as a mark of loyalty, so he's probably going to meet up with his boys along the fucking route, so that's when you're going to hit. Like, hold your horses, kid.
Yeah, and I wonder if Dylan and TJ have the tattoo as well.
Yeah, like anyone in the gang. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. The guy explains what that means as well. That they're like the 1,003. Like each one of them is as strong as 1,000 men.
They used to be the 1,007. But now they're the 1,003. It's like, what happened? It's very obvious what happened.
Yeah,
falling out. Like...
So they're going to have a tournament instead of a raffle.
And the tournament is just, how do you want to fight? Anything goes. Let's do it.
Dylan and TJ just like do gun cat at each other.
I did like Appare like popping up. Everyone has to pop up on stage eventually, but Appare kind of going up with a mouthful hood. It was like, I will pole position. It's like, sorry, what?
Kosame is chopping a cucumber as fast as he can. Al is fencing and slicing apart a cucumber as fast as he can. Arm wrestling is going on. I think Chase the Baddies arm wrestling some dude. Just chaos breaks out. It's like, oh, this is highly irregular, most improper.
So
and then he's shouting like, "No photos" to the press that are there to take photos of this madness.
And Appare just goes home in the middle of all this to work on the car some more. And then we're at the starting line the next morning. Everyone's got their positions. Our heroes are in the 4th position. Not that it helps them because they don't get
the car isn't finished yet.
And my favourite bit of this is there's a dude on a horse and carriage who's got his back turned reading the newspaper to the race. It's like, not having anything to do with it.
I came here to not watch it, just to show how little I give a fuck.
It's a bad movie on purpose, so I'm informed about why I hate it.
And Al's nanny tells him to drive safely, and away they go. And then we see Sophia, isn't it, getting onto the train with a bunch of guys, and they seem to be discussing something that somebody is they're leaving it to somebody to make sure the race ends in tragedy.
Yeah, it's like they're not gonna hit the finish line. It's like, but who's the inside man? That's pretty fun, and I imagine the guys on the train are kind of possibly going to meet them ahead in certain towns.
Yes,
the basic rules were you have to finish in the same car you started. You have to stop in each of the checkpoints for 8 hours, but you don't need to stop. You have to stop for 8 hours, but you don't need to stop for long. You don't need to avail of the services. Thank you. I couldn't think of the thing. Which obviously the big companies can afford to. They have places set up for them there, checkpoints or stopping points, basically. Refueling and whatnot. And even the thing of like your man going is like, oh, that really benefits having a diesel engine and that kind of thing. And Appare is like, aren't we using steam? And Appare is like, yeah, for now. And he's like, what do you mean for fucking now? Because even when he rolls it out, your man has like, it's finally finished. And Appare is like, no, it isn't. I'm going to work on it as we go.
I wonder if he's going to do the Industrial Revolution. Because
it starts off as a wooden fucking thing. Yeah. It's going to be like you have to finish in the same car. This is clearly a completely different car.
It's very noticeable how they keep on mentioning him, but never really settling on him for very long. This Richard Reisman character. And he does have a page on the website, so he does not look like a.
He's not a rando in the background.
No, he's carrying a gun for one thing. And he's got a noticeable scars on his face. I suspect it's going to be lots of little interconnecting plots clicking alongside each other, in a highly enjoyable fashion. Because I'm really enjoying it. It's a.
Oh yeah.
I'm enjoying it at probably the same level or a similar level to Millionaire Detective and Deca-Dence, I think. Yeah, all of these are just like, these are very good.
Yeah,
in different ways.
Like the racing piece of a secondary to it, and you feel like, well, it's based on getting to the race. But even like what we've seen, it might have been a little bit put off by the designs of the cars and how they work. But in the race we did see was ourselves proving our worth on the race course. Just the kind of the little tricks involved and the tactics kept you interested nonetheless.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job with the commentary of going like, oh, she's sticking it all on the last turn and explaining how that makes sense. Because, so if we get kind of like more technical stuff with that, I imagine we'll get that, but with talking about dealing with different landscapes and different terrain.
And different distances, because they made a big point. Yes. It was like this one is the shortest distance they've got to cover for the.
This one's a mad dash. The rest of it's like a endurance test. Most of the rest of the race is an endurance, but this one's just like quickest to the post.
Also, what are they going to do when Gil the Cigar and Chase the Bad they get a lead on in a stop and set up like, I don't know, a dynamite trap for the rest of the racers?
Now, Muttley, we're going to push a boulder on them. Yeah, that would be fun. I would like to see that.
Righty-ho. Then we've got Healing Good, Pretty Cure, episode 18, Heart Flutter, Grateful Nyatoran.
Yep, that darn cat. He's all lovey-dovey with this nice lady who just moved to town and is opening an aromatherapy shop. And she makes me feel kind of funny. Like when we used to climb the rope in gym class. And you're like, whoa, what? Hang on. If your heart's all full for her, then what does it mean for Renata? I mean, thought like the person who makes you feel that way meant to be your pre-cure partner. So what's the deal? It's just, and then it's like having this nightmare vision of like, well, she's gonna be the pre-cure. Well, if we gotta partner up with her now, what's gonna happen with that? Renata, you gotta be all against this, right? She's like, nope. We gotta set you up with that nice lady. Let's go down there and introduce ourselves. Like, what? Well, you're a talking cat. She just thinks that you're a stray cat that she found and brought back to the vets. She doesn't know that you're a magical animal. So we'll like introduce ourselves and kind of ingratiate ourselves for you to her, which mostly involves helping her unpack her shop and put all the stuff away and carry a lot of heavy boxes. But we're gonna help her out. No, she's just moved here, and she like seems to have this whole thing of staring longingly into candles and shedding a single tear. We'll get more into that later on, though. But we gotta set you up, man. If gotta get word out about our stores, we'll help with moving things out. We'll go and hand out flyers. Do everything we can. We'll start our social media thing. We'll do everything we can. And we're kind of saying, well, Tanana's really into this, but doesn't this kind of mean that like if she's trying to back up the cat, she's trying to again, wouldn't that mean that she? And it's kind of like thinking as well, I was in the back of my mind when she kind of used this as an out, because she's had some hesitancy about wanting to be a PQ before this, and things. Well, if someone else came along who made her feel that way, and it seemed like they're better suited to the job than I was, then I'd bow out gracefully. And I kind of felt like she was doing that, trying to find her escape route out of this. But no time for that now, because there's a monster on the loose. It's one to know it's popped up right next to by the aromatherapy shop. It's sort of like a scented candle lantern candelabra yoke.
Again, what's nearest to me in the room?
Yeah.
To be the monster of the week.
We get to fight in that then. We're getting smacked to one side. And we have it in our bag, we kind of set very deliberately here on the park bench. A kind of little bracelet that Nyatoran himself beaded together out of plastic, which he was going to give to the nice lady. But had some up the nerve and, break the whole thing to her. But it's about to be destroyed by a candle missile thing. So you got to dive into the way and save it. Just in time to get caught in the blast. It's like, Nanana, you all right? It's like, oh, it's all right. Is your little bracelet okay? Oh, thank goodness, it's fine. But why did you do that? You didn't need to do that for me. Well, I did, man. Because when we first met, you told me that you can become a pre-cure and you can protect things you treasure. But I'm kind of a ditz, and I'm just kind of bouncing off one thing to the other. I'm not quite kind of set in what I really care about. But I do know for one thing, I care about my friends. And when I see them treasuring something, working their hardest, I want to protect that myself. That's my treasure. I saw you how you were so determined to help out that nice lady because you have a thing for her, and I wanted to support you and all that. You look so cool. You the man. Is that I'm not the man, Hanada. You the man, because you're the one that had all the ideas for go to help her out and to go and do the flyer campaign, and you had the idea to make the bracelet for her, the hand for her, to show her how I really feel. I'm not the man, you the man. Oh, we're both the man. And that isn't back together again because in their own dumb way, they feel the exact same way about each other. There's some joke that got lost in translation. I think they were using a particular phrase that's close to what that means, but it's not quite because you get Peggy Tan and Cure Fontaine going I'm not quite sure it's how you use that term or phrase, but whatever, they figured it out in their own dumb little way. So it's good for them. Monsters vanquished because you used a rain bottle they got last episode, no problemo. Dispatch Bosch, and the day is saved. Only the one thing left to do is maybe if we can confess or have Nyatoran in some way share his feelings for the lady. Oh no, who's this? this handsome fellow's come in. He's a teacher at our school. Yeah, he took a job in the next town over, but that's he's done there now, and he's able to come back, and his wife's moved back here, and I guess they're going to start a happy life here in this town. And Nyatoran is obviously, he's crestfallen. But hey, Nanana's going to be his pal, because they are best of friends who are two peas in a pod. So everything is done. The monster is defeated. The latte, the puppy's not sick anymore. Wait a minute, she is sick. She's burning up, but it's not like flashing little light. It means a monster's around. What could this mean? It means a dog has got an actual like cold or illness. So you got to take it to a real vet, which doesn't involve magic and doing dive kicks on monsters. But will she survive? Probably. Find out next week. An exciting episode. Eating a good figure. Yeah, good. It was just a fun little one. I like Hinata and Nyatoran because they're the dumbest of the trio, but Dawson makes them most endearing. And there was some excellent Hinata faces here as she's reacting to these various situations.
Okay, which character is fantasizing about the older woman being a pretty cure? I was watching the trailer.
That's Chiyu and Nodoka thinking, oh man, if Nada quits and Nyatoran has got a partner up with this lady, that must mean that she'll be our new partner on the squad. So what would that look like? And they keep having like little vision of that as events unfold. It's like they don't seem fully opposed. So it's like, maybe a bit of height in there. No, it wouldn't be that. But you don't need to wait around for the repeater here to come along because the mysterious fourth one will appear in the next episode. Ooh. What a development.
And then finally, One Piece episode 935. Zoro stunned the shocking identity of the mysterious woman. But before we get to that, new opening.
It gives away some things, but not as like the massive amount, unless I need to like go by through it frame by frame. But there are things in there. Yeah, it's like
it suggests a bunch of stuff, and then
there's a few subtle things, like one guy is wearing a wig, that kind of way.
And it reminds you that Jinbei exists. Hey, remember Jinbei? You probably need to remember that Jinbei
the kids
exists.
love him.
Every time they're looking at the TV and Jinbei's not on, everyone has to say, "Where's Jinbei?" They'll see him eventually. He'll be back.
Yes, but it's not like they give you like silhouettes of. It's mainly Odin, story focused.
Yeah.
To the point where we get a look of teenage Blackbeard. I'm not even sure. I can't remember. Does he actually have that in the comic? The claw weapon that he scratched Shanks's eye out with.
There's something that I've seen that detail before. I was beating up things about Blackbeard, trying to divine things that might happen later on down the line. And was mentioned like, this appearance, he had this to him, so it may have been like a shot from maybe one of the anime episodes when they had taken some liberties with it, or it could be just like a very small panel jeep into some backstory there. But I've seen that mentioned before somewhere.
Yeah. It was very striking though how grumpy he looks as a teenager compared to how happy he is now. So I'm like, oh, there you go, Blackbeard. I'm glad you've found your best life, which is
the worst life for everyone else around you. Except for your crew, I guess.
There's I hate everything and I hate everything.
Hey, no, destiny. Believe in destiny. That's what he believes in. And a man's dream. Go follow your dreams. So I guess the question is, how do you found his dream at that point? And well, let's be honest, there's a hell of a lot more questions once we get to that part, but you wouldn't be able to guess that from the opening.
Yeah.
But the other thing about the opening is it's fucking amazing. In terms of
it
animation.
looks fucking great. Mm-hmm.
It's pretty dynamic. And yeah, you get a look at a whole load of people when they were over 20 years ago.
You see a lot more dinosaurs than you were expecting.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing you see is a dinosaur that you might not have been expecting. And there's like one composition where it's like, no, really, if you've got a brain about you and you've been following the story, you'd go, well, that makes sense.
Yes. I did, yeah. When that just jumped on me straight away. I wonder where that character will be. Yeah, there he is.
But like I said, it doesn't seem to be anything to do with the raid yet. So I guess they'll have another opening by the time that comes around, or they'll change the animation by the time time of the actual raid that they're rounding people up in this episode.
Do you think they're based off this opening? They're going to lengthen the because that was like over fairly quickly. The flashback.
I guess they've lengthened everything else, haven't they? Because I mean, this battle has had additional people that Luffy's fought. So
yeah.
The rest of the episodes, I can't remember if there's anything super dazzling in this episode. He's fighting the llama man and
It's Alpaca Man.
Medillo Man.
That's it, an armadillo man. Because I was like, oh, I need to take a photo of him, and then I realised this is not Red Dead Online.
I did enjoy seeing him. I think my favorite thing of the Medillo Man was like it's like super defense, and then like the armadillo that's on his head like just sort of hugs his eyes, try and defend his beautiful face. That's some silly shit. But other than that, it's Zoro and I was like, I've forgotten, like, wait, what was the reveal with her besides the reveal I thought it was?
Woman.
Oh, it's the other reveal. Sorry, I forget that she just, hey, straight up on that thing, and everyone assumed that was. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, not only am I not dead, I'm also Momosuke's sister.
My God.
So how do you like that? So yeah, what does the anime add according to the Wikipedia? Alpaca Man is shown enhancing his spits with haki.
That's jumped out at me.
Yeah.
You can't put haki into your face, so why not your bodily fluids also?
Extra scenes of Luffy dodging Medillo Man's shots. Luffy deflecting sea stone bullets with haki-imbued arms. Medillo Man tries to use spin attacks against Luffy before the latter makes another attempt to use an advanced Busashoku haki technique. And Alpaca Man and Medillo Man used a combination attack. And he also adds additional dialogue between Zoro, Hiyori, and Toko.
Yeah, no, there's some good bits there where obviously he's trying to go like, I'm going to go out and find those swords. And she's like, no, you got to come back. And she's dragging on what is now his bad shoulder. And then having to apologize profusely, but that's the only shoulder you can stop him with. So
yeah, he's down in that drink as well, and
he's like a growing boy.
He's gazing at him, thinking, "This reminds me of somebody I knew from a long, long time ago, or it seems anyway."
We'll check in on Penguin and Beppo and that lot.
And they're worried that everyone's going to think that they give the game up. But yeah, obviously their boss doesn't think that, so they're good.
Yeah, and all the would-be conspirators are being rounded up into one place. And
they're trying to, I think that's just straight up from the comic where they're like, it's just a popular tattoo, man. What the fuck? Yes.
So is that the new One Piece tattoo to get? Is the you've had your X on your arm, now you're gonna have the crescent moon on your ankle.
I've seen the misspelled ace a few times.
Page 1, gotta get that.
No one's gonna get that one unless they get it like page
people,
1.
If people have got the ace one, then they're gonna get the page 1.
But I'm not sure anyone's gonna like page 1 enough. Well, maybe once you see his human form.
You don't know that.
Or you see his human form and his sister.
Look, somebody is voting more than they should for members of Shanks' crew who have not been seen since the first fucking chapter of the comic, who will still break into the top 100 of the popularity polls. So some page 1's in with a shot there.
Ben Beckman didn't even do anything.
No, I was going to say he is pretty cool. I mean...
No, he looks cool as fuck, but like what did he do? He grabbed a gun and like pointed it at a dude or something. Like I think that's the only thing he's ever done.
He's really good at pointing guns at people.
You'll be shit when we meet him up. I know, but just like this, based on this mystique it's built up over 20 years. It's like, oh yeah, he's gonna be a cool dude.
And he's not
Yeah.
even the sniper of this group. He's the one who's pulling guns on people.
What if he is the sniper and Yasop is actually just the ship's drunk or something? It's just like, you've no legacy to live up to, Yasop.
You gotta break it down into Devil May Cry fighting styles. If Yasop is the gunslinger, then Ben Beckman is the trickster.
Oh yeah,
right,
he's 55 in the last poll.
Any day now.
Yeah.
But actually, could be any day now. You wouldn't fucking know.
Yeah, that's true. Actually.
That's dated, isn't it?
Yeah, not too much for this episode. After the little shining glories of the last two.
Yeah. Won't be every week, so I didn't expect it
Yeah,
to be.
yeah.
When was the last poll we had? It was 2017.
Really, that long ago? Jeez.
Yeah, I'm just wondering when we do another one. So many more characters to vote for.
Presumably at the end of this raid, probably, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Because we're going to see some fucking minks high up, I feel, at that stage.
Yeah. But you gotta go into the final stretch of it thinking, okay, who do you most want to see get a cool panel in the final arc? Place your bets now.
Yeah, Cat Viper was 31 in his last position.
Oh shit! Okay, no, he's doing all right for himself then. Excellent.
Well, we see
Carrot
him
at 27.
now. We see him now, new and improved. I think they're going to shoot up, breaking the top 20 at least.
That's true, but there's a whole bunch of people who are firmly ensconced in the upper reaches, even without appearing for a long time, like Shanks.
Yeah.
Like Bon Clay.
Yeah, of course.
Kuran, those guys.
Those are ones I think of after the story is said and done. It's when it's ongoing. I think actually no, it fluctuates for me. There's so much. Like, whoever's like doing cool shit right now, it's great. I just didn't say I don't like love or enjoy characters like Bon Clay or other cool dudes who've been here before any less. But there's guys doing things right now, right in front of the page in front of me, and I can't help but love them in this moment in time.
Yeah, it's their time to shine, but the poll is literally a popularity contest, so
yes.
You can tell how that's going to go.
I think to some people it's going to be a degree of how excited am I going to be when they come back. I think Bon Clay's one of those guys. When he comes back, people are going to be so happy.
Now that character will make me cry.
Yeah. Shit, maybe that's what happened.
Oh God, wouldn't that be amazing?
It would be, yeah.
Because I think there's definitely an element of that.
Mm.
I suspect Pedro will have gone way up as well if he was.
Yeah.
But there's a whole lot of. Odin's probably going to be top 10, isn't he? In the next one.
He's a pretty cool guy. Jeez, I remember when the comics first came out and people were complaining. It's like, this guy's too OP. That fucking shit. It's just like, fuck off.
So will I check in next week? That's the question.
Yeah, or is it worth not that it's particularly bad or anything, just like you say, there's a lot of really good stuff. Is it worth just checking in when good things happen?
Yeah, if I see a super exciting GIF, maybe I'll check back in on One Piece next week.
It'll just be mostly Luffy learning how to punch somebody properly at last.
That is true.
When will he figure out how to punch someone without punching them?
Yeah, that's what he needs, though. He needs to do that to beat Kaido. That's what this entire thing's building up to. And
One punch.
Kind
all he needs.
Kind of gives you it in the opening credits as well now.
Yeah. It does hint at that as well.
But it will be interesting. That would be interesting if it does play out like how that credits is showing. Is after all these fights where he's had to turn into some sort of new ridiculous form with this technique of it just being a subtle punch of defeating somebody while looking exactly like he normally looks. I'm sure he'll go through all the other forms as well in between, but
on the way there, yeah.
Yeah, it would be a nice change of pace for And it'd be big dramatic impact if he hasn't made himself into a giant inflatable snake man to beat up the giant dragon.
It could be one thing that is shown that the Gear Force didn't work so well last time, so it won't be enough. You can't just like jump into that straight away, no matter how many ways you can bend yourself around like that. Just hit him.
Yeah, because this time it seems to be like relying on Hacky rather than the Devil Fruit. And then I guess down the line it'll be relying on awakening the Devil Fruit.
Yeah.
Against somebody else, whoever that may be. Be it Edward Weevil or Teach or Shanks even.
Yeah, it could be as well something. This is a technique you can learn if you can learn Hacky, if strong enough, Devil Fruit or no. But because you have a particular kind of body type, because you are a Devil Fruit user, there's some spin you can put on this and makes it an even deadlier technique than this. With projected force.
You personalize it with your Devil Fruit as well, that kind of way. Sure.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's been kind of doing up to now.
Yeah. All wild speculation about how to punch somebody. We'll look forward to it when we see punch
when he gets that punch in
the future.
Righty-ho, now it's time to ask Niall, what day of the week shall we meet next week for this podcast?
Because it cuts out just as you try and say that. So try again there, Brian.
Okie dokie. Niall, what time are we going to record next week?
Checking the calendar. Oh, that was bad. Checking the calendar. Let's see, that day. Nope. It will be Wednesday the 12th, when I will arise from my sarcophagus after a long 12-hour night shift of looking at repeats of snooker from earlier in the day. Oh, but I'll watch some anime as well and meet them, and we will able to talk about it, I hope.
Excellent. Anything coming up on Secret of the Silent Madness that people need to know about?
Well, we are looking forward to having Martin Schneider over again, our good pal, talk about some Clone High, which is a cartoon by aficionados Phil Lord and Chris Miller. For some couple of things you might have enjoyed. I'd Lego Movie, Climate Change and Meatballs, some of the better Marvel things, such as Enter the Spider-Verse. But it's one that Martin's been clamoring to get to. I think whenever we have him on, he mentions off mic, hey, have you done Clone High yet? We said, no, we have your name down next to that. We're waiting for the opportunity. But the opportunity is now, because there was like talk in the works, of to make some more of that, which Phil Lord and Chris Miller have said the whole crew's a bit about getting it back on telly again. Exciting stuff, to be sure. It's a pretty entertaining cartoon as is, but as far as new stuff goes, we don't have the same sort of cachet. It being, besides being like a funny cartoon about what after clones of famous people like Abraham Lincoln and JFK and Cleopatra were in high school together, but it's framed as a sort of very angsty teen drama at a Dawson's Creek or the like, which gives it an extra flavor. So who knows? But we look forward to going over the original series with Martin very, very soon.
And something will come up on Dynamite in the Brain at some point. Everything I planned to do this weekend disappeared in a sore throat and ear infection, of which I'm still sort of suffering from now as I talk, and I can feel my throat hurting. So otherwise, this will definitely be back. But also, we should mention there's no Habanacon this year. So there's no Amicon this year.
Ooh.
But I'm going to try and figure out how to do a Madstravaganza and our year's best anime. Because otherwise we've got to do two of them next year. We'd have to do year's best anime and previous year's best anime.
Well, as I've majority of the presentation completed already, I do have a Hell in a Cell. I could probably Hell on a Cell rather. I could probably get out some way somehow as well. That's because you just want to keep yourself busy while you're indoors all that time. So I was plugged away, and I can do a few slides of this, and then this is most of the way done now. Let's put the clips in essentially. I should just do something with it now. Don't let that hard work go to waste.
Yeah, I guess we could do it Habanacon weekend or somewhere near there. We'll speak to other co-conspirators and figure something out. But once the news came through that Habanacon, I wasn't expecting it. In fact, I was worried that it might go on, but I couldn't figure out a way that it feasibly could have gone on. because
Juries
In had protocol for running events at their premises, but with the number of people involved, I was like, there's no feasible way they could run it under these rules that they
like the
laid
protocols
out.
were meant for smaller events, I imagine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wonder if they're waiting long enough because it just rolled over into a new month. They're waiting for some kind of clause to kick in from a certain amount of time out that they had in there in the agreement.
Or have restrictions been changed or something like that. Yeah, they might have been waiting. Sure.
The fucking directions are fuck if we know. Try and not get people killed on your premises.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit like how I'm now waiting for another the same wrestling event which has been postponed once to be postponed twice. Because I was like, I really don't see how it's going to happen on that date. It seems very optimistic. But who knows? Things can change over time. It's a long way off. But I don't think I really want to go to a wrestling show in December or whenever it is. It's either late November, early December. It currently is. And I was like, that seems early when everybody else seems to be looking at late March, April for moving events to hope to exist.
Christmas comes early.
Yeah. Otherwise, we will be back here next week. I'm going to try and figure out the video problems, at least my end. So you'll be able to see my beautiful face. Hopefully Dwayne's. Never Niles. He remains a mystery to us.
Continue to imagine me. I am the reflection you see of your inner self. The one that the great intelligence takes like a human form, so you feel less intimidated by it. Imagine me like that, and
a millionaire has
that's not far off
photos.
what you look like, though. Yeah.
From the left hand side, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Righty-ho. Good night.
Bye.
Bon nuit.
Righty-ho.